Yo, what is going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Big Cat 188 and in today's video I will be covering over the Iron Man build. That is definitely the best build for Iron Man so far. Now before this video begins, I do want to say thank you guys so much for all the support you guys been showing on the videos, man. It looks like you guys been loving the gameplay, you've been loving the builds, and yeah, if you guys ever want me to make a video on a certain subject or topic about this game, yo, just leave it down in the comment section below and I will get right on that. Now the build I will be showing you guys today is the Iron Man rocket build. Now some of you guys might have seen this build already or might not have. This is the first time you guys will see what this build is all about, but this is definitely one of the strongest builds for Iron Man. Tomorrow's video I will be showing the laser build because I personally enjoy the laser build better than the rocket build, but today's video will be coming over the rocket build. Now if you guys do not know, the rockets have the highest damage output. As you can see when you go to the skills, if you look at all of the attacks, it says damage high for pretty much all of the attacks. And then if you look at like the repulsors or something, the damage most of the time is going to say medium, high, or low. They do have a few lows in there. And then for the laser attacks, for the majority, they're either low or medium. A lot of them are a lot of lows, but the thing with the laser build, it's kind of easier to get the battery effect going off. If you guys don't know what the battery effect is, be sure to check out my latest video. I'll leave a link down in the description below if you guys do not know what the battery effect is and pretty much how to triple your damage in this game. Make sure you check that out if you don't know what that is. Now the first thing I really want to talk about with Iron Man in general is the little glitch is still going on, but I'm not too sure if it's a glitch at this point, where you pretty much you call in your barrier and you hover over your barrier. You can literally just spam it until you get your overcharge, so you never have to really worry about your intrinsic bar unless you don't have your barrier up. Then you're probably gonna have to let it refill a little bit, call on the barrier and get your intrinsic meter filled all the way up. And that is extremely helpful, especially for the rocket build, because the rockets, it puts out the most output of damage. On top of that, when you get the overcharge state for Iron Man, you can literally just spam without having to worry about your intrinsic bar going down. So that's going to be crucial. Now the first thing I want to do is cover over his skills. Now normally I don't go over every skill, but for Iron Man I think it's kind of crucial to talk about every skill a little bit. Now for all the abilities, I will not cover over the passes because honestly guys, read the passes. I'm not here to read the book to you guys, you know, I'm not here for that. I'm just gonna tell you guys what versions of the support and all the assault and everything that I have and why. Now arc field, I think this one is pretty self-explanatory for Iron Man because it puts the bubble on you and it pretty much deflects all attacks, especially when you get the other version right here that will reflect the projectile. So it's kind of like a combo. This first one gives you the shield and it lets your attacks pass through without letting enemies attacks pass through to you, but attacks can go out. And then the defensive field, it pretty much reflects the bullets right back at the enemies. So they're both a combo, and these are the two ones that you want. You want defensive field for the right side and you want arc field for the left. And pretty much just because you're going to be using that to sit inside of and spam. Now if melee ads like the electric ads or the adaptoids pull up inside your bubble, man, then hey man, you gotta do something about that. You gotta kill them real quick. And the good thing about this ability is that it shocks all the enemies around it. Now there will be a piece of gear that is extremely crucial that I don't even have yet myself, but I will let you guys know about it. Pretty much this will apply the battery effect on enemies, and that's pretty much what we're going to be using it for, to apply the battery effect, and you guys will see the rest later. Now on to the assault tree, I have on the Omega Beam because it does the most damage, and then on the other side we're going to have the energy condenser because as soon as they die we want to drop a heroic orb, and that's why we use the other version because it's a wider area. It can pretty much kill multiple enemies if they're low enough or if it does enough damage, and then they will all drop a heroic orb, and that heroic orb pretty much means we can get our support ability back way faster. And like I said before, we're using the support heroic to apply the shock damage for the battery effect. Now for the ultimate, honestly guys, I rarely use the ultimate unless I'm like in a clinch, but I do have the Magna Missile Barrage, and on the other side I have the Energy Star just so I can call it in twice. For defense, obviously you're gonna have have all of these, but the defense pretty much allows you to call in the shield, and all you have to do is hold R2 and the shield will pop up. Now there is a specific version once we get into the mastery tree. I'm going to start with the utility side. Now for the middle part, you're going to want this one right here. This is the shield passive where it regenerates 5 seconds of your intrinsic bar, because that's what's going to allow you to call in your shield, fly over top of it, and just spam R2 and pretty much overcharge your bar immediately. For the other side of the utility, we have the increase the damage of range attacks while flying, just because with Iron Man you can be in the air and spam your missiles, and now your damage has been increased by another 15%, so that is extremely crucial. And for the left side, we have add shock damage to energy pulse, so and that's pretty much your parry attack. For the intrinsic ability mastery, we're going to increase everything by 12.5%. we're just trying to have max damage. Now for the middle part, I have this one on because, like I said, for my laser build this is going to be extremely crucial, but now that I'm looking at it, I never changed it, but I would definitely have this increase the duration of your overcharge. You definitely want that one for a fact, just so you can spam your missiles way longer and just for a longer amount of time. Now for the left side, we're going to have the arc reactor generator, which increases the regeneration speed. Now some people, they usually rock with the first one, which is increase the maximum amount of intrinsic supercharge energy, but I have noticed that this base regeneration speed is fast, man. Like that 10% is no joke, so I do like this one a lot better, especially when I run low and I have no more intrinsic. It just goes up so much faster, and it's really surprising how fast it goes up considering that it's only 10%. Now for the range, obviously you're gonna have everything for the range on the bottom list. Now for the combat, we're gonna go with more damage instead of the bottom one, which will reduce how much the rockets cost, because we're trying to burst everything down. We don't really care about the intrinsic meter. Now for this, guys, I have on takedown spawn a heroic orb. This one's really kind of up to you, because sometimes I wish I had on the intrinsic takedown, but then again, I'm cool with this right here because, like I said, we're trying to get our support heroic back as fast as possible. And finally, for the last combat, we are going to increase all stun damage dealt to enemies by 15%. Now moving on to gear, this first one is extremely crucial. You need this one, hopefully with better stats. I have resolve and valor, which I'm not too mad about, because honestly, most Iron Man builds that I see, you guys are always talking about, oh yeah, I have like 9,000 health, or my Iron Man's a glass cannon. So I'm not too mad with the resolve, because if you look at my defensive rating, my health is at 14,000, so I don't get one-shotted. I have a problem with getting one-shotted. I really don't like it. So the main perk that you want here is the bottom one, and that is the armory flare, because it increases your critical attack damage from all weapons by 135%, and it is way better than this version right here, where increased critical attack damage while overcharged, because while overcharged, you're not always overcharged. For this one right here, it just increases your damage in general, so it doesn't matter if you're overcharged or not. Now for the second one, we want the particle damage missile. Okay, you really just want a repulsor that gives you the missile particle damage, and that's pretty much it. If you guys can get some better stats than what I have, like I have some doo-doo rolls, but like I said, I'm not too mad on defense and valor because it's just gonna increase our overall damage anyway, and plus my regular precision isn't too bad to begin with. So now if I was to have a chest piece of my choosing, I would get the Superior Mark 13 arc accelerator, because that pretty much puts an electrocution barrier on your arc field and it'll electrocute nearby enemies, which will instantly put the shock damage on them. Just having the arc barrier by itself, it doesn't electrocute nearby enemies unless they actually walk in or like hit the barrier when you call it in. So you definitely want this. And on top of that, how I mentioned before, how I sometimes want my takedown to give me an intrinsic orb, but now this piece of gear will also allow for when you do your takedowns, you can get a heroic orb, and now you can get some intrinsic energy back. So that is definitely the piece of gear that I've been trying to farm for inside of Elite Heroics. I just haven't gotten it yet. And then finally, for our heroic piece of gear, you want anything that can give you a heroic charge burst and everything that increases your support. So right here, I'm loving this because I have the Rampage Spark. All I gotta do is defeat 3 enemies in a rapid succession and I will get a heroic charge burst. And it happens so frequently that I can pretty much get my heroic back extremely fast. And then I have the lethal buff. When I defeat an enemy, I get a damage buff. And obviously for your minor artifacts, you want anything that gives you precision. Preferably you want something that gives you a lot of precision. Like these give me 3. This one right here gives me like 108. This one gives me like 98. So I'm getting a lot of precision off of just my minor artifacts alone. As you can see from my gear alone, I'm not getting getting too much precision from all of it. Now for your major artifact, personally guys, forget the Tactigon. I have the Tactigon leveled up, but that's why I haven't leveled up any higher, because I'm probably going to switch it out for the Ring of Nubeling. Yo, don't come at me, bro. Y'all came at me last video for the Cryo. When it's Cryo, look, I know it's Cryo. Cryo just sounds so much better. I'd rather have this because when I do pick up my orbs, it's going to give me way more. And like I said, we're just trying to make sure our arc field comes back way faster. That's all we care about, our support hero to apply the battery effect. So yeah guys, this is the build, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I know some of you guys already know about this build, but I'm just, like I said, I want to make sure that all my subscribers know about all the best builds in the game, and this is probably one of the better builds for Iron Man, if not the best one, because it puts out the most amount of damage. Tomorrow's video I will be going over his laser build, his laser little samurai build, and I'm gonna show you guys the best things to have for that, because I love that build so much. And yeah guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm BigCat188 and I'm out. Peace.